Hey, folks, listen to this article, and then I'll have you read a few pages of stuff. It's Ben Proto again.
Mr. Ben Proto.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to be back in Greenwich, and it's important to be back in Greenwich. In 2021, I decided to run for state chair, and the very first elected official who endorsed my candidacy was Fred Camilla. And I've never forgotten that. Fred and I have been friends for a long time.
Fred Camilla, real estate mogul, stealing houses all over Greenwich.
It's very important that Fred did that for me.
Fred!
What was that? Go for Fred. So, and over the last couple of years, we spent a lot of time down here in Greenwich from the state party. In 2021, we were able to get Ryan elected in a special election, get him reelected, and help him get reelected in 22, and then again in 24. This past year, I got to know Tina very well. Tina and I spent a lot of time talking about not only Greenwich and the state party, but some of her future. And if you're not sure, it is unbelievably bright that what this woman is going to accomplish, not only in the state.
Now, if you don't follow Ben's instruction, the chair of your party in your town will be replaced. So, Norwalk, Waterbury just replaced their chairs. Shelton just replaced their chair. Stephen Bellis, Judge Bellis's husband, is in the Shelton RTC. And if you don't listen to Ben, basically your human trafficking complaints won't be processed with the police department in Shelton, or your car theft ring complaint, or your sexual assault complaints. You know, and there are many, including the senator from Shelton has a sexual assault complaint being covered up by Ben Proto, but
I think for years to come for Greenwich and the state of Connecticut. But I wanted to come down tonight to say thank you to this RTC. And the reason I want to say thank you is because you've given us Ryan Fazio. You've given us...
Because he's getting the money, folks. Because he's going to get the money that he needs to pay the bribes to keep control of what little pieces of cheese fall from the plate of the DNC, which is a much bigger money laundering issue. Much bigger issue when it comes to destroying certain towns. But Ben's in charge of this legislation, Connecticut General Statute 830G, a framework for affordable housing, and everyone on the Credentials Committee of the convention they just held is involved. He does not like Jonathan DeBarros. Okay, fine. You can vote for who you want to. But the appeals procedure allows municipalities, read more, to defend their decisions to reject affordable housing development applications or approve them with restrictions that would have a substantial adverse impact on the project's viability and affordability of income-restricted units. For more details, you can go and see these statutes, okay? Community development, okay. Let's get back to Facebook and continue playing the video.
Chairman, Mr. Ben.
For me.
Oh, we heard that.
Go for Fred. In 22, and then again in 24. This past year, I got to know Tina very well. Tina and I spent a lot of time talking about.
And he's up for re-election now, re-election.
Party, but some of her future, and if you're not sure, it is unbelievably bright that what this woman is going to accomplish, not only in the state house, but I think for years to come for Greenwich and the state of Connecticut. But I wanted to come down tonight to say thank you to this RTC. And the reason I want to say thank you is because you've given us Ryan Fazio.
Now let's screen capture this audio. State Central,
And if you're not sure about a guy who's committed to the town of Greenwich,
which is rigging the delegates with Proto, Now, if you look at the towns, obviously, Stamford has a stake that's large with their new chair, who, look at all the different chairs. Annalisa Stravato, co-chair, RNC, money laundering town of Wilton, that basically stole $50 million from us.
Well, he is. And to Mike and to Jonathan, you have our full support here in Greenwich. We fully intend to have
Mike and Jonathan.
Here coming back.
They actually think they can win with Smartmatic, Diebold, Gems, No Ink, poll pads, Liberty Voting, which is basically the Serbian programmers of Scott Bates, who was Deputy Secretary of the state of Connecticut, who destroys the cast vote record every year for Ben Proto. They don't want the proof of the rigging of the elections electronically, which is the biggest part of the frauds that occur. Not the dead people voting, not the people voting 18 times, not the people in Connecticut that have voted in more than 44 states, and there is a long list of people in Connecticut voting in 44 other states. So this is a massive fraud issue coming from Tyler Technologies, which is the back office of the Stamford Superior Court. Their IP address was used to hack America.
For Greenwich, as it once was and it should be here in Greenwich. We are fully committed to changing this state. And I've said this before, and I know Tina and Ryan will agree with me on this. Don't expect we're going to have 76 House members and 19 state senators. We'd love to, but we need incremental growth. And people like Ryan and Tina and Mike and Jonathan bring about the incremental growth that we need. And as a result, we've already had two major conversations with Ryan's campaign about what we're going to do, how we're going to work together,
Two major conversations about the money.
Moving forward, and how this is going to be a singular unit, a united Republican Party, not only from the party perspective, but from the campaign side.
That is impossible.
That's something we have not had in a while. 2022 was an interesting year for us.
2022 was the year of rigging the New Britain convention by Aaron Stewart, who announced her run for governor, which was a disaster because all these people were behind Aaron until they exposed her scandal. And now, if Ryan Fazio allows, for example, Patrick Sasser to corrupt the campaign, he's going to be done too, because it's all about the Benjamins. That is, the Benjamin Protos.
And we had some issues there. I don't anticipate having those issues. I anticipate Ryan and I have worked very well together since the day he got elected. Tina and I worked very well last year when she ran 2 years.
Let's face it. Proto hates Trump. Let's face it. Trump endorses candidates and they win. Look at the last two, Cornyn and the Texas issue.
Years ago. And we're prepared to do that, not only here in Greenwich, but across the state, because I believe, contrary to what you may hear out there, we are going to win legislative seats. We are going to win constitutional offices, starting with the governor's office.
They cannot win the Heim seat. No, they cannot. And they will not. Why? Because you don't have the leverage on the campaign to keep it honest. Ben has no leverage on the campaign to keep it honest. He does not even question the rigging of the delegates, the rigging of the convention, the destruction of the cast vote record, and the big gorilla in the corner, Dominion voting, which is liberty voting, which is no ink, which is what Connecticut uses with GEMS, with Westport's access to the tabulators. Ben thinks there are no connections to the tabulators, when in fact, every tabulator in Connecticut is connected to the internet. Every single one.
And I fully expect that we are going to win a congressional seat. That's going to happen.
I fully expect. There is not a prayer now for the Goldstein campaign, because he just killed it. Ben just killed it. And by the way, it's a D13. There are D3s. In other words, Waterbury is the most likely one race next to Dolores seat. Next to, the hardest seat to take will be the Himes race. It will not be taken because they can't afford to lose Himes. Himes is not under attack by the Goldsteins. Hell no. They're not attacking. What they're doing is using the delegates to attack the other opponents. So I fully endorse Dan Moresi. Why? Because I may be out of it unless I collect the signatures, which I've been doing every time, which Ben can't stand. So can Ben fix what's wrong? Well, we have June and July. Could people line up? Could I get 100 people to collect 100 signatures in Connecticut, in Fairfield County? I certainly could. I've done it before.
And Tina was absolutely right in what she said. Democrats are going to try to do one thing and one thing only, make this about national politics. And it's not. It's about Connecticut citizens. It's not.
Ben is so full of shit. It is about national politics, and in the fact that Connecticut is a crime syndicate, which he's controlling. He's got the purse strings on the crumbs that come down from the DNC. He doesn't say anything about the rhinos that he is working with. What about Jim Feen? What about the chair of Stratford? What about the chair of Stratford? Has admitted rigging the delegates for Ben, has admitted rigging the petitioning candidates' signatures in Stratford for Ben. Ben's chair of Stratford, Lou DeCillo, has admitted in emails to rigging not only the delegates, but the petitioning candidate signatures for Ben. Now, Ben needs to get paid for what he's doing, and that's why he's in Greenwich.
Washington, worry about Washington. We'll take care of Connecticut.
Ben has been saying for years he doesn't care about senatorial races. He doesn't care about congressional races. Right to my face.
That's not to say the things that are happening in Washington aren't necessarily that bad for Connecticut. One of the things we know.
Excuse me. Everything in Washington that's bad is bad for Connecticut because Connecticut caused it. Blumenthal caused it. Murphy is chair of foreign relations. Blumenthal's on the judiciary. They appointed Judge Meyer. Judge Meyer heard the oil for food. $1.4 billion fraud case where 2,100 companies got bribed. Did 2,100 companies in Connecticut get bribed? No, it was nationwide. Was it all the military complex in Connecticut? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. How do you move a mountain? Connecticut has unstoppable forces and immovable objects, and it's going to be a war.
For a fact that there are more more people in the state of Connecticut who received tax refunds this year because of what happened in Washington with Donald Trump and Republicans than ever before. I guarantee you, most of you in this room.
While Ben was bad-mouthing the guy, yeah. And while State Central hates Trump. Well, that's okay. You know, we have a few people standing on their own like DeBarros who will beat Chris Shea handedly. Why? Because Ben's behind Shea, and Ben's going to sacrifice Shea. Ben's not talking about Shea here. He's cuddling up to Greenwich's senatorial candidate, and it's going to be very difficult for the treasurer of these campaigns to stay out of trouble because of Ben. Ben stole money from George Logan, gave it to New Britain, and paid the bar bill at the convention on the Murphy race. And that is illegal. Earmarks.
Who paid taxes on your 1040 paid less taxes on your federal 1040 than you did on your state 1040 this year. Why? Because of the big beautiful bill. We've seen change incrementally coming about. It's our job to stay united. It's our job to continue to work together. It's our job to be.
We see Ben sabotaging all the America First candidates. Period. Okay? Period. Goldstein's like, hey, let's take 2 nuclear subs and generate electricity, and we'll solve Connecticut's electricity problem. Do you know how unrealistic that is? It's virtually impossible, okay? Unless, of course, you want nuclear waste cooling water in the Long Island Sound. Connecticut's not on the ocean, folks. It's on the Sound, okay? Groton is important, and what are we doing about Groton? Oh, nothing. Oh, nothing. What about these senators? It's an abortion.
Rowing in the same direction, and it's our job.
Rowing in the same direction.
Knock on doors for Tina, and for Mike, and for Jonathan, and for Ryan, and right on down the road. We do that. We knock on the doors, we make the phone calls.
Don't knock on the doors in Bridgeport, Mike. Don't knock on the doors in Bridgeport, Jonathan. Because we know what you said.
Give Joe $5 from Greenwich. I wish I could give you $5, Joe, but it doesn't count, right? But I can't give money to Jonathan and to Mike, and I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to support them. These are friends of mine. They're friends of yours.
Any friend of Proto is no friend of mine, okay? Period. So, let's gather the patriots of Connecticut, as we've been doing. Our group is growing, and it's getting more vocal. It's getting more attention. We may not win a race, but we might win a lawsuit.
We don't turn our backs on friends. We may disagree at times, that's okay. But we don't turn our back on friends. And everyone in this room should be committed to helping their friends. And that means
I could say some things here.
Republicans across the city. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I know this. And I point to Greenwich all the time. I will put any town run by a Republican up against any town run by a Democrat, and I know which town is going to be run better. Just like I will put any state run by a Republican, soon to be, against any state run by Democrats like Ned Lamont, and I know which state's going to be better. All those numbers Tina gave you earlier, he turns around in the next 4 years. But only if we work together and are united. So my message tonight, first and foremost, is thank you. Thank you for all you.
There is no message after Ben threatened me at the convention and assaulted another guy at the convention for recording him without his knowledge and consent. Well, you know what? You're at a public place. It happens to be an Indian reservation. And weaponizing the police department at Mohegan Sun was a big mistake. They interfered with a federal election. They would not allow me to enter the convention for District 4. I was a delegate for myself as per state and federal law, which the state law is not followed at Mohegan Sun, though the Mohegan Sun police admitted on video they do not follow federal law, and neither does Ben Proto. So,
Thank you for us, thank you for Ryan, thank you for Tina, thank you for Mike, thank you for Jonathan, thank you for Michael Goldstein, thank you for my good friend Fred Camillo.
Good friend Fred Camillo.
Time and time again.
Fred's got a lot of skeletons in his closet. The biggest one is named Corey Coopersmith, who's a plaintiff in a case against Ben Proto.
Again, let's stop one thing. I said this at the convention, and you heard me say it. Republican on Republican violence has to end.
Ben assaulted someone at the convention, no one else. Ben threatened me at the convention. Okay? I didn't threaten him. I said, Ben, stay 6 feet away from me. Don't come near me. I said, don't come near me, Ben. What did he do? He blocked me from the convention illegally, federally, in a federal election. And Tom O'Day and I have a mutual friend. But you know what? Don't take money from Epstein and come to me when Connecticut has a human trafficking problem that Ben Proto has never mentioned.
We won't win. We only win when we're together, and I will leave you with my favorite Herb Brooks quote from 1980 hockey team. You are not a team until the name on the front of the jersey means more than the name on the back of the jersey. Folks, the name on the front of the jersey isn't always Republican. Oftentimes it's Connecticut. That's who we want to put first. Democrats put themselves, their party, and their base first. We put Connecticut first and our people first. So again,
that is a bold-faced lie. He's not America first. He's claiming he's Connecticut first. He's not Connecticut first because he doesn't follow the Constitution either. He's no patriot. He's a wolf. This is for his own personal benefit, and I hope that Connecticut comes to its senses in 2026, this year, and replaces Ben Proto with an actual patriot. A J6er has my endorsement. And thank you for listening.
thank you very much for all you do. Thank you for having me. Paul, thank you for showing up. Let's put a congressman up from this district in Washington, and let's change Connecticut.
There is not a prayer. These are the words of the Democratic Party. There is not a prayer for Goldstein. They already know the outcome of the election. They're saying that the Himes race is secure. There is no chance of what Goldstein expects to happen. Zero. They come to my kitchen in my living room and they tell me what the outcome will be long before it occurs. Hey, Johnny, you're not going to win against Blumenthal because he's bribing us too much. Johnny, you're not going to win against Chris Murphy because Chris Murphy and Act Blue is bribing everyone. Oh, does Ben Proto mention the bribery of Act Blue ever? Well, he's a defendant with Act Blue in the case. Why do you think? Because of smurfing. Because of smurfing. How much smurfing is going on? Well, one guy in Stanford gave 18,000 contributions while he was in the hospital for 4 years. And in the 4th year, he died, unfortunately. We spoke to his wife. They may have made a few donations years ago, but they are false donations now. So, will Act Blue be indicted by Trump and take down what WinRed is doing? If you look on WinRed right now, my name's not there, though I filed 4 times. I'm not on WinRed, folks, because Ben Proto has a say. Ben Proto does this. Ben Proto does that. Ben Proto is a cancer. What's the cure? Maybe Jonathan DeBarros, maybe not. Thanks for listening. That was the tape I think you need to secure, copy. It's on Greenwich's website for the RTC right now. You need to grab it, secure it, play it, record it to memory, and take care of business, folks. The people rigging the delegates are not the chairs. When Oppel did what the powers that be are telling Ben Proto to have done. Okay? It's all clear. Thanks for listening. Get back to work.